Hiya! Welcome! It's Records Roundup number 51. That's right, you get no respite in this series after the half-century milestone edition from, I don't know, a week and a bit ago. It's the usual drill, loads of vinyl to show you, and something different, and we'll start with the something different, as this is a format that I don't think I've shown in a Records Roundup before. I've shown this particular medium on the channel in other videos, usually nothing to do with music or record collecting, but because this is relating to music and it's something I pre-ordered from the BFI shop, that's the British Film Institute shop, a couple of months ago when it was announced. It's come out just a few days ago as I'm recording this, and I haven't watched it yet. Yes, watched. It is a Blu-ray, and it is the KLF's 23 Seconds to Eternity. So when I saw that this was announced, I got really excited because, well, when was the last time something physical came out, music or video wise, from the KLF? For those of you not in the know about 23 Seconds to Eternity, I'll try and read it. I'm going to have to hold it from a distance because I've not got my glasses on. But it says the KLF became the biggest selling singles act in the world in 1991, blah 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 blah. Produced and directed by Bill Butt in collaboration with Jimmy Cauty and Bill Drummond, who in their guises as the Justified Ancients of Moo Moo, the Time Lords and the KLF were one of the most successful, subversively creative and enigmatic bands of the 1990s. 23 Seconds to Eternity takes viewers on a film journey through their music videos and short features, including The White Room from 1989, The Rights of Moo from 91, narrated by Martin Sheen, and the previously unreleased 1992 Crash. And it's got a wealth of special features as well, trailers, interviews, probably some commentaries as well. Basically, it's a KLF video collection, not just the promo videos, but all their all their films. It does include The White Room, which was their most well-known, notorious film, but others as well, like shorter ones, although I don't know how long The White Room is. That might be quite short. But yeah, very, very excited when I heard this was coming out. As you can see, it does have a nice KLF hype on. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to preserve that. It's a dual format edition, so it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD in the same package. So if you've only got a DVD player, and if that's the case, you really should have upgraded to Blu-ray by now. Blu-ray's been out for donkeys, but oh well, whatever. You can get this, and it's got exactly the same content on either disc. There'll be a nice booklet in here as well. I'm not going to get it out and show you, I don't think, today, just because I want to get this video moving along. I thought Records Roundup 50 was actually going to be a shorter one, and then it ended up being about the longest one for ages. And I can see it happening again if I don't shut up and wrap these things up a bit quicker. A BFI production, available not just at the BFI shop, that's just where I chose to order it because they were the first for the pre-orders, unsurprisingly. Really, really excited and looking forward to digging into 23 Seconds to Eternity by or of the KLF. So that was my first Blu-ray that I showed you, or Blu-ray / DVD. But we move on to vinyl records, and I've got plenty of albums here to show you. There is also a mail opening to do right at the end. This one, the first one to show you, is Discogs Pickup, and it was the one remaining half-speed remaster reissue from this group, or this duo. I think they were a duo or maybe a trio at this point. I'm not entirely sure. My history on them, because I've only really been getting into them in recent times, is a little ropey. This was the one half-speed remaster of theirs, that I needed for the collection, and it's been quite a pig to get this one, to be honest, because it seems to be a lot rarer than all the ones that came after it, although I think they're all released or re-released around the same time, a couple of years or so back. But anyway, I'm talking about the debut self-titled album from Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. I had to order this from a Discogs seller in, I think it was Germany, if memory serves. I do lose track, to be honest, but I'm pretty certain this was from Germany. It's, you know, normal European-wide issue. This would have come out in the UK, and indeed I did see a copy of this on eBay not too long ago. I wanted the half-speed master edition. You can get plenty of original or near original pressings for quite cheap, but I wanted this one because I've got the half-speed remasters of Organisation, Architecture, Morality and Dazzle Ships. I do like how they sound. I'm impressed with the, I think it's Abbey Road Studios for this, and we might have another half-speed remaster from a different group to look at in a little bit. Yeah, this just, well, it doesn't keep my OMD collection up to date because there's still a bunch of albums up to and including 1991 Sugar Tax that haven't been reissued in a modern form, like these early 80s ones, and then there's a couple from the 90s, of course, that have been reissued, and then we move on to sort of modern period, current OMD. This has got their breakthrough single, Electricity, on it, which originally came out in a different form on Factory Records. It is on black vinyl. It's obviously pre-owned, this, but fortunately the hype is still there, and the seller has separated the record out from the outer sleeve, and I think he's put it in one of those MoFi style protective inner sleeves as well. I don't think it's a proper MoFi one, or it might be. No, I don't think it is. So I can show you the disc, but I don't actually have to get all that open and faff around. But really happy to get that. The price was, including postage and taxes, is a bit over £50, so more than what I wanted to pay, because the other three, Organisation, etc., were pretty good prices. I didn't pay a lot for any of those, but this one for some reason is harder to get hold of. I'm assuming it was made in less quantities, but I wanted the half-speed Abbey Road remaster edition. I got it, a little bit more than what I'd like to pay, but it's in the collection now. I'm happy about that, and I'm looking forward to listening to Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark by OMD. Moving on to another album that was an absolute pain in the arse to get hold of. So the story behind this one, it's not that much of an interesting story, but bear with me, please don't switch off. I actually pre-ordered this at WH Smith, but it was around the time where, or the release date was around the time, I pre-ordered it a few weeks earlier, obviously. That's what a pre-order is. The release date coincided with when there was a little bit of a vinyl shortage going on, which I haven't really heard anything about now, so I'm assuming it was a very sort of brief, temporary thing. But it was just not shifting, it wasn't being processed at WH Smith, so I thought, well, if I can get this somewhere else at a similar price, I'll cancel the order at WH Smith, get my money back, because I'd already paid for it, and just buy it somewhere else. So I did that, got the money back, and paid, I think, maybe a little bit more when you factor in postage, but not too much, because it's a good site with reasonable prices. From Denmark's iMusic, I've used them a few times recently, to get this. This is a reissue of Cicero's Future Boy. And it's an interesting reissue, this, because it's got a DVD with it that's been titled Cicero Vision. Cicero, for those who don't know, and he was a bit of a one-hit wonder really, which is a shame because his music is excellent. It would have been the very early 90s. He was kind of discovered by someone to do with the Pet Shop Boys, I think it was, and then PSB signed him to their little boutique label, Spaghetti Records, soon thereafter, and he did have it was top 20, I think, hit, Love Is Everywhere. Hopefully I'll be able to play you a bit of that in a moment, but no other big singles came off the album. I think he did release a couple more singles, but they didn't do very well. He also contributed to the soundtrack of the excellent film, one of my favourite films, The Crying Game, in 1992. And this was really, until very recently actually, his only album. I think he just didn't record hardly anything, or if he did record anything, he didn't release it for decades particularly. And then in more recent years, he's gone on the kind of SoundCloud / Bandcamp route of releasing his own stuff. But as far as I know, this is still his only album that's out on vinyl. And at the moment, this is the only album of his that I want anyway. Really great synth pop this, and it's got an obvious PSB influence. In fact, Pet Shop Boys, they contribute some production and I think some backing vocals from Neil Tennant on at least some of the tracks on here. I'm going to get this open because I want to show you the vinyl. It is not black, and I want to have a little look at the DVD as well. It's unusual to get a DVD included with a record, but not totally unheard of because that happened to me recently with a Human League live album. But that was an album that had been out quite a while. So I can't remember the exact price of this, but it wasn't too much. I don't think much more than £20, including postage, all the way from Denmark. There's your inner, just being a little bit careful. Yeah, I can feel the DVD in there. There's Cicero from Scotland. I think he's actually Scottish-American, but he was maybe born in America and brought up in Scotland. And it's on white vinyl, as you can see. This is an album that I've quite fancied having for years and years. I've always liked his singles. Love Is Everywhere was his big-ish single. The track he did with Sylvia Mason-James, which isn't on the album, but I think it's on the DVD. Live for Today for The Crying Game, that's great. A couple of others I can think of that he did that didn't particularly chart or didn't chart highly are on Future Boy. So a quick look at the DVD, which will have promo videos and stuff on. Oh, that's nice. So it has come in like its own little envelope there. I won't bother unsealing that because it'll be a bit boring to look at. But it's nice that his promo videos have been collected here. In fact, let's have a look. Heaven Must Have Sent You Back to Me, Love Is Everywhere, That Loving Feeling, Live for Today, all those promo videos. And then there's a press kit kind of video called Cicero, an introduction. And then there's like a little live set from Heaven Nightclub featuring Love Is Everywhere and a few other bits that I'm not actually familiar with. So yeah, some interesting viewing on there. The album's the main thing, but it's nice. It's like a free extra, that, and with some stuff that isn't actually on the album itself. But I do recommend, even though he kind of came and went in the blink of an eye really, that if you are a fan of synth pop and electronic music like I am, then you give Cicero and Future Boy a try, particularly if you're a Pet Shop Boys fan. If you're a PSB lover like I am, this is going to be well up your street. So that is the DVD Cicero Vision and the reissued and presumably remastered, yes it is remastered it says, white vinyl edition of Future Boy by Cicero.
You make me feel jealous, you make me so mad, but now that it's over, I'm feeling so glad. Sense has found me, for once in my life. Now pain is faded, all I see is the lights. She was using me, but I didn't care. Don't you leave me now, just don't you dare. Can't you understand, with the whole of my land?
I said that there was another half-speed remaster specifically from Abbey Road Studios to come, and I'll show you that now. And amazingly, This is a group who they've been going for absolutely forever, but this is the first studio album of theirs I've ever owned. Now, I bought this from Drift Records, which I think's a record store and website based in Devon. I've seen them kind of on Twitter, and I've been signed up to their mailing list for a while, and then they had a 30% off sale, but then they were giving an extra code out so you could get even more money off. This album here, it's a 2-discer, like I say, it's a remaster, special edition, in fact it's a record store day edition from 2021, was down to $13.99, and then I put another code in for an extra, it would have been 15 or 20% off, got it down to just over £10 for this, and then a bit of postage, that put it back up to about £13 something, but I thought for that price, it's a group that I like, even though I don't own any of their albums. Let's make this one the first one. I'm talking about Face Dancers by The Who. Absolute bargain this from Drift Records. It came pretty quickly. Last I checked, there were still copies of this there. They must have had a surplus of these and they're just having to reduce them quite a lot to get them shifted. But even at $13.99, which was the original discount, I think is a really good price. You're going to get that for well under 20 with postage. But then when they were offering an extra sale code and I was able to get the price down to a little over a tenner, it was a no-brainer really. So this is a 2 LP set. It's their album from 1981, I think. It was out, I think, maybe the second 2021 drop for RSD. It's got the mastered at Abbey Road Obi strip there. That's nice. I think this is the first, although I've got plenty of remasters and some that are credited to Abbey Road Studios. I think this is the first one of these type of albums that I've got with the actual Obi strip there and the Abbey Road logo, etc. Not familiar with much on this at all, but the single from it, I think it was maybe the only single, or at least the one that did really well, You Better You Bet. That's a good Who song, I've always liked that. We'll get this open because it's coloured vinyl again. I think it's 2 different colours as well, so as long as I can do this relatively neatly and successfully, we'll take a butcher's. So I don't know if this is an album that is particularly beloved by Who fans. You know, if you're going to start collecting The Who, and I'm not saying I'm going to get any more of their albums, but they are a band who I think if I saw any bargains going like this, I'd certainly pick them up. I don't know if this is considered one of the greats in The Who canon really, given it's the first album they released since Keith Moon's death, so that was obviously going to be kind of a bittersweet period for the band and for the fans. I think that's the first disc there. I think the second disc of this is like, might be a live album or outtakes or something. Like just says disc 2 is Face Dancers Part 3. And it looks like it might have demos or just offcuts. That's a butcher's term, innit? Offcuts. Yeah, just like stuff that maybe they didn't consider good enough for the album at the time. They've released it on this edition. So the first disc is a nice bold blue. I'm assuming that's a relatively accurate facsimile of the original centre label, but no, probably not actually. I suppose this label, this side, is possibly a new one, but I couldn't honestly say. So that's a nice one. Another inner. This one is a nice bright yellow. There again, it's got that paint motif on that centre label there, and then more of a kind of standard record company label on that side. I think possibly, although I've got some more bargains to show you, but I think just for what you get and just the amount of discounts I got on it, I think this might be the bargain of the day really. Of course, I don't really know if I'm going to enjoy the album, but at that price I'll give almost anything a punt when it's just little over £10 for something that's brand new, remastered, new and sealed, although not sealed now, obviously, but Face Dancers by The Who. Let's give this a try, and hopefully I might find some more Who bargains if I enjoy this in the future.
When I say I love you, you say that's all.
move on now to 3 records, all by the same group. Now I've set myself a little bit of a challenge here, and it's one that you could help me with actually. You could sort of send me messages to let me know of any good deals, any bargains. You can leave it in the comments. But I want to try and collect as many albums by this group as possible, but I don't want to spend more than £15, and I want them to be preferably new and sealed, or at least near mint, remastered editions, reissued editions. I'm talking about Madness, and the first one I picked up for under £15 was from Amazon, and this is wonderful. So this was their comeback album from 1999, I think. Another one that I was alerted to thanks to the Vinyl Deals Twitter account, and this cost, I think this was something like £12.35. And obviously being a Prime member, I got free postage as well, so £12.35 is all she wrote on this one. So once I'd ordered this, I thought, you know what, I want to challenge myself to find more Madness, and preferably these remastered reissues rather than the originals, because I do prefer the remastered reissues generally, no matter who I'm collecting, to be honest. I know some people are insistent that they like original pressings, but I think it can get a bit complicated for, you know, finding good stuff for a good price, really. If something gets reissued, you know, in more recent years, then chances are you're going to be able to pick it up for quite a good price, and this was a very good price. About £12.35 I think was the price on Amazon. The only track on here I know is the single that came off it, or the first single, Love Struck, which is the first track on side A. Black vinyl, so that's all I'm really going to show you for this one, but that is wonderful by the Nutty Boys. But we stick with the Nutty Boys, because once I challenge myself, let's get all of Madness's remasters, all of their reissues for as cheap as possible. Then I had to look around, shop around to find more. I found another one from HMV, and it's their second studio album, Absolutely. So this was right at the top of my maximum Madness spend, £14.99. I was able to get free postage because I was ordering a couple of DVD sets that I wanted, some comedy DVDs. I really want to start doing more videos about my comedy collection and stuff, but that's something I'm still figuring out in my head, and I'm trying to work out a good format for doing that in 2024, so watch this space maybe. But anyway, free postage for this again. I think with my Madness challenge, I think £15 is the maximum I want to spend on an album, but if there is extra in postage, then as long as it's not something ridiculous because it's from abroad or whatever, then I will pay the extra, and then that'll still count. But I'm not going to buy any Madness album, and I should really try and do this for a lot of what I collect, really. But perhaps in the new year I'll be ramping down the amount I spend, hopefully, and I'll be specifically looking out for bargains. So I'm not even going to think about buying more Madness that's over the £15 mark. And this was £14.99. Their second album. I've got their first album, their debut album. If you cast your mind back a few months ago, I did pick up One Step Beyond on cherry red vinyl, another in the reissue series that they've got going on. I can't remember how much that was, but oh yes, it was part of the £355 deal at HMV, so it technically would have come to about £18 something if you split 3 ways. But I hadn't thought of the Madness £15 challenge by then. So yeah, it looks like a good replica of the original sleeve, but it's got that nice golden hype on it. Absolutely by Madness, with the singles Baggy Trousers, Embarrassment, Return of the Lost Palmers 7 I think was a single as well, and I think everything else on there more or less I've not heard before. But Madness are great. I've got Wonderful to listen to, certainly got peak era Madness from the early 80s to listen to as well now with Absolutely. And a mail opening finishes us off today. This has come today. This is from an eBay seller. I think it might be some sort of record shop somewhere. Swallows. That's the name of the business. And they're based in Dunmow. Is that Cheltenham? It's either Cheltenham or Chelmsford, the postcode. But Dunmow. Anyone who knows Dunmow, give us a wave. And my watch is falling off here. This is another bargain, and you've probably guessed, given that there wasn't a clip played of any music after the last album I showed you. Absolutely, you'll know we're still on madness. And this one is Keep Moving, brand new again. This cost, can't remember the exact price, but it was £9 or £9 something, maybe £9.20, and then about £3 in postage. So altogether, not much more than 12 quid, and it's another reissue, remastered one presumably. I'd keep calling them remasters, but I'm not actually certain if they remaster, but they'd certainly reissue, because you can tell right away because they've got these sort of very uniform hype stickers on. This has got my very favourite Madness single on it, Michael Caine, so that was nice to be able to get that on a physical format for the first time. I think the other single off here is One Better Day. This was their last album, well, next to last album before they split up, and then they kind of reformed in a fashion as The Madness in about 1988, and then broke up again, and then they got back together properly for Wonderful in 99. Of course, they did Mad Stock and everything in the 1990s, but they weren't releasing new material. So yeah, there we go. Keep Moving by Madness. Real good bargain. When I saw that I could get this brand new on eBay for under £10, it was a no-brainer. If there'd been more of the Madness albums in this format that I needed at similar prices, I would have jumped on those as well. But I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to try and build a Madness collection up, but do it on the cheap over the course of, well, 2024. I know we're not quite there in the new year yet, but I dare say that'll be when I attempt to finish this collection, if I can. And if I can't, then, well, so be it. But that is Madness. Keep moving.
Yes, an embarrassment, a living endorsement. The intention that you have booked was an intention that was over.
There we go, Records Roundup 51 done and dusted for your viewing pleasure today. I want to say thank you to all of you for watching, with special thanks that go, as always, to my wonderful subscribers and my generous patrons as well. Please see interesting referral links from Urban Jungle Contents Insurance and HMV in the description text box. Also there, get social with my Facebook group and help me out a little bit if you wouldn't mind, if you'd be so kind. And I know there's some kind people out there who watch this, by considering having a look at my Patreon and donating to the channel from as little as $1 do a month. I'm gonna go now. Loads to listen to, something to watch as well. I think the KLF 23 Seconds to Midnight, that's going to be first out of the pile. Because I tend to watch things on TV and DVD, Blu-ray, etc. streaming at different times of the day as to when I'm listening to records. So that'll get done probably tonight. And other than that, I've got plenty of Madness to listen to first and foremost. Also some tasty albums from OMD, Cicero and The Who. And I do hope that all of you will join me next time for my next record and music collecting video and Records Roundup. Cheers everyone. See ya!